Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, the 27th of November, 2016. And as I just said in the last Zoom call that we just did with our guest speaker, Sue Cobb, I cannot believe where the year is going. Absolutely buzzing with energy. We obviously were all just on a Zoom call a minute ago with Sue Cobb, who's just incredible. When she was talking about the products going on, Porsche, Ferraris, Emirates, it was just incredible, absolutely incredible. I took so many notes. So I'm just absolutely full of energy at the minute, and it's just going to explode even more with our gorgeous trainer tonight. So we all know the wonderful Melanie Hennessy. She's an absolutely extraordinary person, but most of us will know her for her story. So she has got the most incredible story, she absolutely has, and she's shared that a few times with the team in different places. But you know what, there is so much more to this girl, there really is, and I know Mel knows this as well as anybody. She's just like, I don't even know what the word is, she's just like loads of layers, so many different layers, and it's just incredible. Like, you could spend a whole month on a desert island with Mel and just be fascinated the whole time. There's just so much to learn. So
there should be lots of this.
Yeah. So Mel recently pushed herself out of her comfort zone, and I mean really pushed herself out of her comfort zone. I'm sure she'll share this, like super pushed herself out of her comfort zone, and she did a few things that were not in her comfort zone. And she just embraced it. She just thought, do you know what, life's so short, why not embrace it? And she went and did a few fairs and stalls, like long weekend ones, and she's going to go into detail about this. And she's just been incredible because she's just willing to share everything with everybody. She absolutely is. So what she's going to do tonight is talk about how she pushed herself out of her comfort zone, the kind of things that she did to build up her courage to do that, and then what she's actually done in terms of stalls and fetes and promoting herself and her business in front of new networks of people. She's going to tell us all the things that she wouldn't do in the future, which we all need to hear about as well, and the things that she would do in the future and what she's learned from, and just basically give us a whole host of information so that we can all benefit, which is what Mel is. Mel is our one through and through. She's just the most giving, kind, wonderful human being. So she's here tonight to just share everything with us. So I'm now going to hand it over to the wonderful Melanie Hennessy.
Are we all right?
Hi now.
I'm just going to feed in and go. I've just literally walked in the door because I've just been out. I've just put a thing on. I don't know if people saw it, but I thought, oh, I've just got my Genius Ultra, my very own. Yes. And I haven't had a chance to use it yet, because what I did is I put on my page, I'm looking for people to trial it for 2 days, take me a photo before and after, be willing to share it and give me their own review on it. It's been out to 2 people. I've just been to collect it tonight off someone, and I've ordered it.
Woo!
So I've literally just walked in the door like 5 minutes ago. But what was lovely was because I said to people, and I'm not one of them to go, you need to buy it, you have to buy it. I'm like, could you just trial it for me? These are good tips, actually, I think. Can you just trial this for a couple of days? Because I'd like your feedback to see what you think and what you feel about it. And then so I can kind of do my own assessment on it. Because I don't want to lie about things. I always want to be honest and truthful. I had one friend bring it back this morning, and she said, I love it. But you know what she did? She only did half of it. So when she come in, it was weird, because I said to her, what's happened? And she, what? I went, one side looks amazing, and the other side, like, doesn't look right. Did it not work properly? She went, no, I only did one side. That was the side we just said. That may be that I speak before I think. So I was like, all right, yeah. Anyway, she was like, no. She said, but I wanted to do that to see for myself, like 2 days later, like, had it really worked? And she was like, oh my God, has it worked? And she's in the position that a lot of people are, and I respect that. Christmas is coming and I'm skint, but can I get this in the new year? And I'm like, yeah, but I'll just leave you with this thought. On December the 15th, you won't get it at this price. So it's kind of up to you. Walk away, think about it, get back to me. So that's quite a good tip to use with people as well. Like, could you just try it for me for a couple of days? But I'm like, you know, you do understand that you'll have to give it back, and it will make you cry, and you have to part with it as well. It's great. So even then they would be like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. And the two people who've had it, say one's ordered, the other one's like, it is amazing. So you kind of have put like, you've dangled the carrot, I think, like, there you go, just have like a little taste. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's a brilliant way to get people on board. Hi Nat, and so I've come in like buzzing kind of thing, because she was chatting to me, the lady, and she just said, do you know what? I wasn't born Usha, but I want it. And I just need it so badly that can you just order it for me? But I had to sit in a separate room with her from my husband, because if he knows, he'll kill me. but she was like, I said, men will never understand. So that was brilliant. So I think that's a brilliant tip for people, to be able to say, look, can you just try it for me? Would you just try that for me and let me know what you think? Because it's like you're asking, to them, I think it's a bit like treating them as if like they were queen. Like, I'm asking, could you do this for me? Do you know what I mean? And they feel honoured that you've asked them, or that kind of thing as well. It makes them feel special, and who doesn't like feeling special? So that is a good tip. So it's just gone on to somebody else tonight who actually works for another like a cosmetic company. I'm not going to say names, but she's asked me 1,000,001 questions tonight. What should have took 10 minutes has took just over an hour with her. And she wants to know everything that what Arbonne stands for, what it's all about, and blah blah blah. So I'm kind of hoping there that I've left her with not only an amazing product, but you know, maybe the chance to move to something that she loves and respects even more. But yeah, getting back to the stores and the affairs and things, what I did was, I think I've only been going since, Natalie will confirm, I think it's May, is it? May or June? Was it? I can't remember now. May?
May.
Yeah, I thought it was May.
Yeah.
And like from the word go, I think I'm a little bit one of them who kind of, I don't think or do anything normally. So I kind of think outside the box anyway. And I'll never tell anybody I am normal, because I don't think I am, and I don't want to be. So what I've always done is, I've always been quite a creative person anyway, and then I love sharing things anyway with people. And I can sit around on the computer. So if you're ever stuck for a poster, by the way, or anything, just let me know, because I can sit for hours making things up and playing. But what I thought on quite early doors was, right, what am I going to do, and how am I going to make this work? And don't get me wrong, it's still early days. I've still got a long way to go, but haven't we all? But I thought, I'm going to go and kind of look into a bit of everything, really, because I think you've got to kind of try a lot of different things, because from that you can assess what works and what doesn't work. So there might be things that events you do that you walk with it, well, actually that was an absolute waste of time, and then you might do one that was absolutely amazing. But then in all of it as well, you have to remember no 2 years are ever going to be the same. And Natalie will confirm this. Even when we've just done York, we did 4 days in York, and it was, I mean, it took me 2 days solid of sat emailing, like bartering prices, because some of these events aren't cheap, and bartering prices and trying to get a good deal on things. And 2 days later, I'd agreed to this, you know, these 2 events, York Racecourse and me and Natalie Newcastle Racecourse this week. So I'd confirmed it all, got there, and it was so busy. It was really amazing. But everybody who I spoke to, and a lot of them go there and work their events every year, said it was busy like it always is, but nobody was spending this year, and it was the worst year for them all. So it wasn't just kind of, also though we did have some sales, everybody felt there was a big knockback this year, and I think people are struggling financially with jobs and everything. Yeah. But from that, I always think that, you know, if you've got one sale, like, you've got to see it as a positive, because that one sale could lead to something massive, because you don't actually really know who that person is you're selling to. You don't know anything about their background, really, their family, everything that kind of they believe in. So you've got to, as tough as it can be sometimes, go like, you know what, that was one person that could make me 100 customers. You just don't know. Some events haven't worked, but that doesn't mean they're never going to work. It just didn't this year. but you walk out of every one, and whether it's you feel negative, there's a positive to be gained from it, because you know what needs to change, or maybe what you need to do next, or what could work better for you next time. You come away asking a lot of questions, and asking yourself, really, was there anything you did wrong? And I don't believe that it's kind of anything that you've done wrong. Some people are still very negative to, if you don't sell it in the shop, then you're sure about it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever felt that. I've seen that from anyone, but it's like, can you buy it in the shop? Well, no, you can't. Oh, well, I don't know then. You know what I mean? And it's trying to get that point over. And what happens is, in life, I think we all get into a big habit of doing things the same. You know, we might go down the same aisle in the supermarket and buy the same things, and repeat things over and over again, or take the same journey to work every single day, when you know you could go a different route and it's a little bit quicker, but because you've never used that route, you're going to stick to the one you always do. And it's just about changing direction, thinking, well, I'm going to turn left today instead of right. And it's not easy for a lot of people, and people are fighting to change, and it's trying to build their the confidence in themselves and kind of what they're believing, or asking them. I do a lot saying to people, can I ask you why you use what you use, or what made you start using that, or why do you go in the supermarkets and buy the things you do? And the majority of them, hand on heart, will stand there, and for a few seconds they really have to think about the answer, because in their own head, and you can see them doing it, really thinking, actually, why actually do I use that? Or why have I always stuck with that? Why haven't I never changed it? And then I asked them and said, do you ever look at the ingredients in the products you use? No. And you get that, I think, 99% of the time. And then when you start explaining to them, I think you can tell a lot, the ones who really think, oh my God, and those like, and you will get that. But through every negative, I just think you have to pick yourself up, be as positive you can. And even if they want to knock you back, and be rude to you, because you will get it, again, you've just got to pick yourself up and go, well, whatever, that's their loss, kind of thing, not yours. You've tried your best to help them. If they don't want to be helped, then that's fine. When you do your events and fairs, because a lot of it, you can ring a lot of companies, but there is a lot of paperwork to fill in for things. And some of the questions they ask is unbelievable. But give them as much information as you possibly can, but plan ahead. Don't think, you know what, there's a summer fair coming off in a month's time, I'm going to apply for it. You need to be on it 6 months before. I booked my Christmas events in June. You've got to be in there early doors, because if you aren't, you do not stand a chance. Very rarely will you get in, especially to the big events. Big events, yeah, amazing, but I tell you what, the small ones as well are fantastic, because they can be a bit more private, and some people aren't comfortable in big spaces and massive crowds. So whether you're doing a big event or a small, there's going to be somebody there that's really going to see and understand everything you're saying to them, and you're just going to get different people everywhere you go. No two events are ever going to be the same. And I've done quite a few actually this year already, and like I said, booking from June, and every one of them's been completely different, but the events have seemed very similar, if you know what I mean. And it's the people. But what I've wanted to do was go a bit further afield, so not stay on my own doorstep. So it was a bit, it was out my comfort zone, thinking, oh my God, right, what do I do here? But I don't want to be just with my neighbours on my doorstep and the same people. And that's not being disrespectful, but I'm like, how many other towns can you go to where people really haven't heard and they don't know about the products? And I think even like out in the countryside, you know, when they do little town hall events, things like that are brilliant, because you get a lot of people who are coming from countrysides and who live a healthier, more natural lifestyle, so it can appeal to them. There's somebody everywhere. But what you shouldn't do is, because I did do it a little bit in the beginning, was look at events and think, oh, that'd be no good, that. No, I don't fancy that one. Don't just like cross it off your list and go, no, I'm not going to bother, because that one event could be the one that absolutely is amazing for you. But you've really, really got to, and I can't stress this enough, plan months and months ahead. Really, it is vital, because I did apply for a couple of things that was fully booked in June for this, like November, December time. You just couldn't get on. But when you've got into these events, especially like your big ones, it's yours. You'll always get first refusal in the future. So what I think is, I've booked and planned these events. It's in my name, so it's up to me how I want to take this forward, kind of thing. So I've got the opportunity, because my plan is to eventually build my own team, health permitting, but to build my own team and then be able to offer them and say, well, you know what, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it this month, but can you take this? Do you want to take this? Because once your name's in that building or at that event, especially a big one, if you own it, if you like, you own that. And you don't want to lose it, because if I say, no, I'm not doing it next year, I don't want to do it, I might never get into that again. I might the year after go, well, I'd love to do it now. And they go, sorry, we're full, we can't get you in. Keep your name at it. If you get an event, especially a big one, that's going to be, you know, it's going to be really popular, really busy, or even if it is a small event, get your name down early and own it, because it's yours. So you, if you like, can do with it what you want, whether you want to do it, offer it to your team, or get somebody to work it with you, or hand it over to another team, whatever. You've got to plan so far ahead. I've already got, which is an amazing one as well, when I did a big fair in Harrogate, they've sent me, and I did that in, was it end of October, within November, they've already sent me an email with every event I've got on the whole of next year, if I want to book in. So that is a massive, massive one if you think that's something you'd like to do. In all areas in the country, you know what I mean, there's big events going on everywhere all the time. Maybe just try and venture just a little bit further than you normally would. Look to see what's out there. Find out, ask your friends, ask people. If you know somebody who lives, I don't know, 40 miles away, if you know them, ask them what's going on. Get in there, get your name down to it, because I made sure, and this is another vital point, I asked them, is there going to be any other Arbonne stall at the event? Because if there is, I'm not really comfortable going ahead with it. But that was my choice, because I feel like it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right. No, you're the sole Arbonne exhibitor. That's fine. I'd like it to stay like that. And I've explained to them, I'm not being cruel. I'm not being, being rude. I'd just rather that there was just the one Arbonne there, because I feel like it's not right to have 2, 3, 4 of them there. So ask the question. Don't be scared to ask, because the last thing you want to do is turn up somewhere and be unhappy with it, or feel like, oh, well, I didn't know there was going to be 3 others there. You know what I mean? That might make you feel a bit uncomfortable, or them for that matter. So just ask all these questions. Don't be frightened. Don't be frightened to ask, because I think it's going to knock you back a little bit. And at least I walked into everything I've done thinking, right, there's nobody else here from Arbonne. I'm not slipping on anyone's toes, because that's the last thing I'd want to do. Have you heard of Arbonne? I asked them the question, these places. No, we haven't actually. And they're brilliant. The support I've had from the people I've booked with have been absolutely amazing. And I've experienced the first time I've done these kind of events. Can you give me any advice? They've been absolutely brilliant. But if you don't ask, you're never going to be able to move forward, if you know what I mean. You've got to ask the questions. If in doubt about anything, just ask the question, because the most of these people are, well, everybody I've booked with has been absolutely brilliant, supportive 100%. But in the back of my head, my name's there and it's mine, and nobody can take that from me. I've done it, I own it, kind of thing. So if you think that's something you'd like to work on, Fetes or events or anything, start even looking now. Wouldn't be too late. Wouldn't be too early for next year. Start looking now, do your research, looking into events, small town hall, big fairs, big shows, schools do so many things. Ladies' nights are massive in schools, massive. So get onto them. They're doing a few times a year. Get onto them. You've got to have your ears open. Whenever I go out, was it yesterday I was out? Where was it? Yeah, yesterday I was out, and I was sat in. I've been out to get a new car. It's only because mine's broke. And it comes on Wednesday, and I was sat in the cafe after with my husband and daughter, and I wasn't being rude. I really wasn't being rude. But this couple next to me were talking, and I hadn't noticed she was pregnant. And I heard them talking, and then it said something about the pram they just bought, and I turned around and I went, I said, I'm dead sorry to be rude. And interrupts him. I just heard you talking about the pram, and I've just noticed you're pregnant, and then we got talking about just I brought Arbon into it, and I left, and I gave him my card, and I was like, look, I just be really careful. And in fact, the husband was the one who said to me, I am so glad you just told me all that, because we're first-time parents, and we just feel like we haven't got a clue. You know what I mean? So even little things like that, you know what I mean? And even when you do stalls and events, things keep popping up in my head here. Even when you do your stalls and events, a lot of people who do their stalls and their events around you can be your biggest buyers. They can be your biggest leads as well, because you could say to them, or they could be asking what you're doing, and like, oh, well, I have a friend who might be interested in that. Well, actually, there's a card, pass it on to them, ask them to give me a ring. Oh, and then ask them, I lead into, so do you normally do things like this? Oh, yeah, so where are you from then? All right, so what's popular then? Is there any place you think I'll be good working at? Just ask the question, because there could be one answer in that would be like, oh my God, that's it, that's where I need to be. Every day in life you learn something new. Every day in life somebody will tell you something that you never expected to hear or you didn't know about, and it could be that one thing that makes your Arbon, your journey, like even more amazing, and take you to places that you never knew existed. I've been to some beautiful places lately, and I'm like, I didn't even know this was here. But you're seeing and meeting and feeling and sensing, and it's just different every day, and I love it. I love it. But I love people. I love events like that. It's my kind of thing. But please start now. If you think next year you want to do a summer fair, next summertime, June, July, August, whatever, you've got to start looking now. You've really got to, especially for these big events, because some of them have waiting lists. So you might not get it next year, and it might be the year after, but you've got to be on it now, really now. So that's my bit of advice. I have a terrible memory at the best times. If anything pops up why we're chatting, I'll let you know. I'll get back to me wine and I'll think why we're chatting on. But that's my tip. But don't be frightened. Just massively go somewhere that you've kind of never been before. Dare to be different. Just dare to be different and go for it. You've got nothing to lose. You've got nothing to lose. Just do it. It could be that one thing that you do different in a different town that makes your future amazing, your life, your everything amazing. There you go for it. I don't regret it.
Mel, that was fabulous, absolutely amazing. I've written down so many top tips from that. I really have. A couple of things I wanted to do. Jane, are you all right just to unmute yourself and just share a few things that you were just saying on the chat then, because you were saying some really great stuff on the chat, so it'd be great to have that on the recording in your pajamas.
No, it's all right. I've done some stretches earlier and I've pulled me back again a bit, so I'm just leaning on my but no, I'm fine. Yeah, I was just saying, if you go around villages and things, just keep an eye on notice boards and things, because they often have flyers up, and in pubs and places like that, they're always pinning flyers up. Some for small things, some for big things. But yeah, like Mel was saying, definitely get in early, because I know some that I've tried to get into, they're like, oh no, we get booked up months in advance. So I missed some of it, Mel. Sorry, my lap playing up, but fantastic training, brilliant.
You're welcome.
Lucy,
and I just remember, sorry to put in, why I remember another massive one to do as well is the council. Go to your local council. That's a massive website to go on, because you tend to find a lot of their events or things that are coming up or things that are happening. And like I say, even if you find you're too late to get in, say January, February, think about the following year. Don't just go right in the next couple of months. You need to be planning like a year easy in advance. Keep planning ahead. You can't afford to just do months. You need to be doing 6 months, 9 months, a year. That's what you need.
Fabulous. Lucy Pryor, are you happy to share about how you've got on with your Fetes? Let me mute you. Oh, wait, hang on. There you go.
Hiya. Yeah, I did one yesterday. It was my first one, and it went really well. There's a couple of bits that I've learnt for next time, but yeah, I think being positive from the start and just being confident to talk to people is like the main thing. Eye contact all the time and just smiling. So I was looking around at the other stall holders, and they was all sat behind the stall on the phone, didn't really acknowledge people when they came in. But I picked the table right in front of the door, so I was like the first person they saw. And I was like smiley all day, and I was stood up all day, and I just said hello to every single person that came near me. And I think that's a really big thing as well.
Good on you.
Compliment them as well. If you see somebody, you know what's another good one as well? If you're out on the walk past you and they haven't really given you that eye contact, because you'll find as well a lot of people will try to avoid you because they're frightened or they're a bit unsure or they don't know what it is. And I always say things like, oh, I love that cardigan. Can I just ask where you got that from? Just compliment and straight away they're like, oh, and they'll look straight at you then. And it's like, oh, thank you. Oh, that's so nice. I'm like, oh, it just really suits you. It's beautiful. I'd love something like that. And straight away, then you'll find you can make a conversation out of that with them as well. So that's a massive one.
Yeah, I've done exactly the same as what you guys just said about complimenting people. That's how I usually lead in. Exactly the same as what Lucy said, in front of the store with my hand cream, compliment somebody walking past. It's really easy to do it when they've got children as well, because you're like, oh, you interact with their child. And then I just go straight on to, have you heard of Arbonne before? And most people say no. And you're like, oh, great. Well, basically, it's a company that's specialised in like free-from products, what everybody's really into right now, proper buzzwords, gluten-free, free of animal testing, and they're like nodding because they're usually like, yeah, and you're like, it's great. But not only are we free from all the nasties, the great thing is these products are actually results-driven. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, which is why they're so popular with so many people these days. It's like the beauty is like best kept secret, and most people seem to be really engaged by that. They're like, wow, and then you're like, come and try some hand cream. So I find for me that works quite well for me. So same tips that you guys have just given. Natalie, did you want to share anything about stalls and Fetes from your experience, because you've done a few with Mel now, haven't you?
Yeah, really just what can I say that Mel's probably not said?
I think Mel's back.
I think just really like just be approachable, like as well as the compliment. Just don't bash in with Arbonne. You've got to sort of build a bit of a trust, a bit of rapport. And I always found that I I complimented them, and then we just talk about, oh God, it's amazing here, isn't it? It's some beautiful stalls, and they kind of build a bit of rapport with you and think, oh, okay, she's not jumping down my throat, so now I'll see what she's got. Because I think if you do that, and you do just head in with, oh my God, have you heard of Arbonne? They're like, whoa, they either don't want to know or that's too much. Remember the personality thing. Those of you that have had encounters with learning about that, some people's comfort zone is like way over here. Some people like touchy-feely, some people don't. It really is. You've got to be mindful of that. And one mistake I made, not this time, I've made it like in my first days, and coming back to the personality thing, I actually sort of touched a lady and went, I love this jacket. And she kind of like, as if to say, did you just touch me? And I think it does boil down to, you've got to sort of stay back and work with them until you know what comfort they're happy with, and then sort of head into it. So yeah, that's a big one, I think, for me. That's something that I have learned from in the earlier days, and I try and incorporate into what I'm doing now massively.
So your top tip then is not to touch people?
Yeah, just in case. Just in case. Some people, like, I'd be fine, I'd touch them back, well, obviously depending on the area, but I just think you do need to be mindful of that, because some people really don't like you coming even close to them. They do just really, really, triangles would so freak out it is just incredible. But yeah, I think just have that in your head. Not everyone will be accepted to, you know, you're getting dead in the face and dead close, and you know, people like space, and I think they need to be able to see that you're not just sell, and you are quite happy to just talk about the weather or, you know, whatever, and then it just makes you more approachable to people. And always have a smile. Let me just tell you something really, really quick. I went to McDonald's drive-through the other day because I dropped Daisy off somewhere, and Toby was like, "Oh, please can I have a hot chocolate?" So obviously the nearest place that I'm having to traipse all the kids out the car with my horrendous injury was literally McDonald's drive-through. So I was like, right, okay, go to McDonald's. So I went to McDonald's and I pulled up at the drive-through and it was, "Hello, can I take your order, please?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I gave my order. "Right, just come round to the next window, please, thanks." I was like, right. So I pulled round, and it was a different girl that took my money to who was on the headset thing. And I said to her, she either needs to cheer up and speak nicely to people, or she doesn't need to be in this industry with people. And the girl was like laughing and saying, "Oh, I know. I think I'm going to have a word with her in a minute." But I just thought, you can't do that. So just be mindful of how you are coming across. Like anyone that's just seen the call with Sue Cobb that was amazing, you know, be that ENVP that, you know that you can be, and you get your head in there. So just have that in your head. That's who you are. You're going to be there, and you're attracting the same kind of people to you. And I think if you always approach people like that, you know, they almost feel like royalty because you are appearing like that. And they almost, I know this sounds silly, but it's almost like, "Oh, wow, she's talking to me." You know, it is kind of like that as well. So that's another tip. I'll shut up now.
Fabulous. Did anyone have any questions they wanted to ask about Stalls and Fetes? Let's put it out there. About anything else? I had one, Mel. What would you say has been your best experience with what products to have out on your Stalls and Fetes? Because obviously, like we all know, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of products. Like we can't physically have it all out. But what would you say would be the key products to have out from your experience?
You know what? I feel as if you've kind of, like, I always go in somewhere and get a feel of the place. But after when I did Harrogate, which was my first big one, I realised that actually it was ladies out shopping and they really weren't interested in the nutrition side of it. They just weren't. It wasn't what they wanted. They weren't looking for it. So when we did, I did a couple since, and I always try and put a little bit of everything out. But when we did York, I said to Natalie, "There's just no point. Don't even, because we're wasting our time even taking the nutrition side of things. We can talk to people about it, but it's just a no-go, because kind of at this time of year, people aren't looking to detox. No disrespect, but they just aren't. They're out Christmas shopping. That's what they're looking for. So kind of go into wherever it is you're working at, or if you know what the event is, if you'd like to say doing a ladies' night, you know what I mean. Try and make it as like your makeup, a little bit of your skincare. If it's the summertime, remember to add the summer products. You know, like say it's winter now, there is no point in putting any sun care in the winter products. There just isn't. So kind of assess your situation, assess where you're going to be and what you think they're going to be looking for, what people are needing, what you think they're going to want. Now take it all along. You don't have to put it out. Because they get there, because sometimes you might go somewhere and think, well, they're certainly not going to need this, this or this, and get there and think, well, actually it was that and that they did need, and the rest they didn't. So try and weigh up what you think is going to work and isn't going to work, and set your stall up. There's no reason why partway through you can't think, well, that isn't working, I'll take that and put this in place. So just be wary, you know what I mean. If you go into a health and well-being kind of place, you know, like a health and fitness place, then you've kind of got to be looking at you know, yeah, you need your nutrition range in that, and maybe, you know, your skincare and just a little bit of the makeup kind of thing. Assess where you're going to be going and take it from there. Take it all with you, so you've got it, like I say, in case you need to swap, but you don't always need it all out, because I find that too much stuff on a table can be just a bit like, oh, what, hang on a minute, just a little bit of something displayed nicely with some little like we did little gems and things and snow on ours to make it look a bit wintry. but don't overfill your space, because less is more. It really is as well. Because I find, I don't know about you as well, when you do anything or when you're out shopping at an event, if there's too much there, you're like, oh God, I could be a bit like, oh, I can't handle all this. Or even like a crowd, you can't handle that. Well, a table can be crowded as well.
A bit like overwhelming.
Yeah, it can be a little bit, because you can go in and be like, oh God, I can't even bother to go through it all. I can't, it's doing me head in. And a lot of people don't like that. So you could maybe lead them from the questions they might ask. Say, well, actually, what I do have, but I haven't got it out on the table. If you bear with me, I'll get it to show you. You could do that. It's better to do it that way than, like I say, overwhelm people, because they just don't need it. Again, yeah, another one I meant to tell you was when I did and I'd forgot suddenly, like, to put a backdrop on. I knew I meant to get something. I knew from doing a previous event, because it was my first big event. I looked around a lot of stores and I picked up a lot of ideas from people. A lot of stall holders actually will give you advice. So I learned a lot from people talking to me about things. But a backdrop's massively important, especially if you've got a plain white background or a plain black background. It looks boring. If you see something that looks interesting and colourful or bright, or anything that you think is going to pull someone's attention, you need that up there, because the first thing you need to get is people's attention. And if the stall next to you has got really bright, colourful things and it looks amazing and the backdrop's stunning, they're going to go there, they're going to walk past you, because you've got a plain white background and actually there's nothing really there, and actually it looks really boring. And so I'm not even going to bother looking. You know, the first thing you want people to do is look at where you are and what you've got. And if you haven't got that backdrop, how you set up your area, it's got to look inviting. So make the most of the space you've got, with the background or without you. That is vital. It is massively, massively important. I can't stress that enough.
Great. Okay, did anyone want to add anything else or ask anything else about Stores and Fetes?
Just one more thing as well, I'll just quickly add on. One thing we also had was height. So it wasn't just a case of having everything sort of just laid out on the table. We created a bit of height with things too. So visually, people didn't have to sort of, if they were the triangles and the squares and things, and they didn't want to have to come right up to the counter, the table, you know, from a distance, because of the height that we'd created, with the steps and things like that, you know, everything was visible. Everything was very visible. We had our luxury products, obviously the RE9 ladies and men's, on a like a sparkly mat, and on the other side the other products, like the other skincare, so like the FC5, the Calm, etc. The yeah. So, and then at the front we had the Genius, which obviously was the pinnacle of everything. So I think it's about placing things in order of excellence, really, as well. I think that's another good tip. And then obviously the makeup was on the height, so we had like lipsticks, foundation, blushes, you know, so it was all visible from even at a distance. So if people didn't want to actually physically come up to the counter, they didn't have to. They could see what they needed to see.
Did you use Arbonne boxes to create that height?
No, Mel had got some perspex like steps. So
I did. Sorry, Natalie, but do you know what? Them steps I'd seen. What was good? Like, well, I remember. If anybody needs to know where I got them from, message me and I'll send you the link over. Because again, you like going back to when I said, you know, look at what other people are doing. Have a little walk around and see if you feel like drawn to something. Look and ask yourself what it is that's drawn you. Look in and think, right, hang on a second. Oh, that's got a lovely little wooden shelf there, and oh, they've got bits of jewellery draping over, and oh my God, that make looks so amazing like that. Ask yourself, tell yourself in your head, I know what it is I like about that. It's that. Oh, that looks beautiful there. I really like that. Look at it and ask the question. And I went round, and what I, like Natalie was saying, we had the steps, and what I'd done was, my previous events, I'd seen things, I was like, oh, these are really like quite nice things. I like how people, things like say layered up, so it's not all on one level, because it just looks like it's on one level and that's it. When it's spread out and up on different heights and things, it can look more attractive like that. So I went online, I thought, right, I'm going to find some steps or something that I think will look amazing. I got some white plastic, the 3 steps they are, so there's 3 like steps. So I couple of them. And I thought they looked lovely, pure and white. So you can get the clear ones on the black, but I thought the white looked lovely because it's pure. So that's why I chose that. But I also got, again, this is brilliant, some like little stands to put A4 posters in. So you just slot them in the perspex stands, so they're just there on the stand. So you're not having to think about, I've got to stick it up on the wall. They're actually in the stand with like an L shape, do you know what I mean? And you just slot them in between the plastic sleeves, so they're there on display. So if you haven't got the backdrop to put things on, you can stand them on the table. Again, they're lovely. I've just bought, this is a lovely little thing, some little acorns to put on the table, natural, and some dried orange slices to part with things to show that we are all natural. So just little decorative ideas just make all the difference. Another one, a good one to do, which is probably something I'd use in future, is, you know, the Arbonne boxes your products come in, keep them, just put all newspaper scuffled up in it and get some green tissue paper from off the top and place your products in there. Do you know what I mean? Use your boxes, because we go through so many of them, and Arbonne's all about recycling and doing the right thing. So use your boxes, showing that we're using, like, we're not wasting, we're reusing things. So again, that's a massive one. You can make some beautiful displays with your boxes, beautiful. You can turn them upside down and stand things on them, anything like that. Again, you're making that height, so you're making it more attractive, because people don't want boring things, do they? It's got to look inviting, it's got to look different. People have got to watch and see what it all is that they can see on there, and all them different levels. People are going to come over because it looks amazing, it looks different, it's wow, look at that, it looks lovely. So yeah, a good way of recycling as well. Back to you, Danny.
Incredible. And I just had a last bit of advice as well. Mel was saying that speak to the other stall holders, and something that I did last week, which was incredible, was I went to a Fete as a customer. So I didn't have a store, I went as just me, and I took Ian and the girls, and it was Chocolate Festival in Melton where I live. And it was the hour before they were closing. So it'd been a whole weekend event, and we were going the last hour because we'd been swimming, and we're like, let's just go and see what the chocolate festival's like. And people were starting to like get a little bit like, oh, you know, it's the last hour, it's quiet. They were starting to do some real discounts on a lot of things. So people were sort of willing to chat because they were quite bored, counting down the minutes to go. So I got chatting to people, and pretty much every single person I spoke to, I was like, oh, how have you found the weekend? And they were telling me, and I was like, oh, I've done stalls and Fetes with my business, like I haven't got one today. It's just I live here, so I've come along. And they were like, oh, what do you do? And I'd say, oh, I've got my own online health and wellness business, but I come along and promote it at some stalls and events, you know, where people are really into like their health and nutrition and cosmetics, those kind of things. And people are like, oh wow, that sounds interesting. I connected with so many people and got their contact details, and one lady was selling coffee beans, and we connected, and she said, oh my gosh, we could do like a coffee and cosmetics thing together. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. So going off what Mel said about connect with the stall holders, massive tip there, because you're going to do each other a favour anyway, and especially as a customer, go at the end of Fetes and stalls, because you're going to have so much time to chat with people as well, and you're going to be able to connect and grow your connections that way.
Yeah, that is a good one. Actually, I found that what I try and do is at the end of any events, like the 4-day one we did in York, I try and spend a little bit of time having a wander around, just maybe doing a little bit of shopping, but asking people as well, because like you said, they've got time to then, and they're just waiting to go. And I did a lot of chatting to people then and asking them things, or, you know, and they'd say, oh, what do you do? So, you know, I was like, oh, I'm just over there, why don't you come and have a look? Or, you know, if you haven't got time today, maybe in the morning before we start, or whatever, come over and have a little look, and see what we do. Or do you want me to pop your catalogue over? So I'd do that, nip over the catalogue, have a little look, see what you think. Come back, and I'm just across there, pop it back over if you want, or if you've got any questions, come back over. Never miss an opportunity. You've just got to, you know, it's all right sitting there going, I'm bored now, I've had enough. I think, no, actually, there's nothing going on, I'll go and ask some questions. I'll go out and get something else. I'll find another way to get something back. So don't waste your time just hanging around. That's really important. Again, yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, it's a good time to catch people. Or like you said, Danny, as I've gone to events where I've not been working, I've gone around just to even just get a feel for the place, you know, and make me go away and think, actually that one could work for me, or actually that one wouldn't really be right. So just go along to things, even if you don't intend to buy anything, or if not for that reason, just purely for the reason that you think, well, I'm just going to go as a customer. Well, so just go along just to get a feel for the place, see if there's something that could work for me. That's another one to do. I've done quite a few of them. It's like going around show houses, isn't it? I'll just go and have a nosy because it gets my idea to build me home. Like the home next time I decorate. I don't want to buy a big 5-bedroom house. I just want some ideas to decorate. So it's just the same kind of thing. You just go and assess where you can get your next stall, you know what I mean, or your next. I mean, I'd love a 5-bedroom house, but yeah, just go along just to. That'll give you an idea as well. This looks amazing. Oh, actually, no, this really, no, it's not for me. So that's another good one to do. But yeah, Danny, you're so right. I've done that. Brilliant idea.
Fabulous. Okay, well, thank you so much, Mel, for your whole insight in that, and for everybody else that's given some tips and information. So I'm going to stop the record now. So thank you very much, Mel.